Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for registering and attending this one-week online faculty development program on outcome-based education (OBE). This is being organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell (IQAC) of JPM Arts and Science College, Kanchiyar, Idukki, in association with IPSR Solutions Limited. We would like to welcome Dr. Sunil Job, who is the resource person for today, and also all the FTP resource persons, managers, directors, principals, vice principals, representative from management, HODs, IQAC coordinators, and all faculty members. About this FTP, we have had 1,200 plus participants from 28 states and union territories together, and 450 plus higher education institutions. We have simultaneous YouTube live streaming that is also going on. In case if anybody wants to switch on to the YouTube live streaming, you can also do so. I will put the link in the chat box shortly. This is a one-week FTP program with live sessions at the timing of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is actually our fourth day of the session, and tomorrow will be our last day. All the participants who have paid the processing fee, which will receive the LMS access, the video recording for all the days, and along with that participation certificate. If any of you are yet to make the payment, please make the payment of amount rupees 200 rupees to JPM College to the account details in the chat. LMS has also hands-on activities that are to be completed along with the FTP. My name is 𝐍𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐨𝐴𝐺𝐸. I'm the Global Relations Manager for IPSR Solutions Limited, and I will be the event moderator. Now, for today's session, the session will be on the topic will be on assessment designs and mapping of outcomes. It will be taken by Dr. Sunil Job. Dr. Sunil Job is an adjunct faculty of Marian College, Kuttikkanam, Autonomous, and Chief of Academics, IPSR Solutions Limited. Dr. Sunil Job has 30 plus years of experience in teaching and 10 plus years in corporate consultancy. He holds a PhD in mathematical education and has been an associate professor at MG University College of Teacher Education from 1999. He has started his career as assistant professor at Karmela Rani Training College, Kollam. He has served as visiting team member of NCTE for grant of recognition and as a resource person for the affiliation renewal committee of MG University. He is an active blogger in cutting edge technologies in IT, education, and data science. Dr. Job has published a few articles in national journals and authored a few academic books and a reference manual in mathematics. He is a research guide of Lincoln University. He has served as resource person for a number of faculty development programs in outcome-based education, data science, e-learning, etc. Currently, he is serving as adjunct professor, Marian College, Kuttikkanam Autonomous, and Chief of Academics, IPSR Solutions Limited. Over to you, Dr. Sunil.
So, thank you, Sajan, once again for the very wonderful introduction about myself.
Most welcome.
Okay. So, as we know that we are in the fourth day of our faculty development program, and one more day is left. So, it's very happy to understand that most of you are using the LMS functionalities, facilities to its best, because as we know that here we are having only some the live streaming, but the real life of our FTP lies in the LMS, where you are having hands-on experiences, where you really come in close with the outcome-based education's scenario, where you'll be working out with the different tasks and have a multiple of these materials as well, which could enrich you in the journey of outcome-based education. So definitely that will be something very, very worthful, and so it is very happy to see that most of you are availing the facilities, but still a few of them are yet to be active in the LMS. But no issues. The LMS time will not stop tomorrow. It will be there for one more week, as mentioned by Sujin. So make the maximum benefit out of it. And not only that, if you have missed any of our live streaming sections, you can avail it in the LMS there. Because obviously, since it is an online platform, there can be possibility that due to some net connectivity or some points or some areas you may not be able to catch up. No issues. You can play any number of times in when it is there in your control and make the concepts. So you can gap the concepts at the time. So, today we can dive into a little more different into the outcome-based education, because in the first 2 days we have just detailed about Bloom's taxonomy, about its prospects and challenges we have seen in the first 2 days. And yesterday we have just gone into outcome-based education. We explored. We got answer to the question why of OBE, because that is something that has to be answered, because that is a motivation force that pulls us into the adoption of this OBE in the right way. And also we have understood the guiding principles. We have just familiarized with the architecture of OBE. And also something very fine thing that we have done yesterday was that we have got a formula for writing a good outcome, and also we have got a 4-point check, a 4 quality check for a good outcome. So we can continue from that point, that to the next stage we can proceed in this segment. So as usual, I'll be sharing you a few slides for today's section. So let me share the slide first. So as I said that, because here there is some because I'm joining from home, because there will be some internet connectivity. In order to avoid that, I'll be just stopping the video streaming, and we'll be going to our presentation. It is given that there is YouTube streaming also is there, because many of the participants have as said that at times this WebEx platform seems not much friendly. There is some interruptions in between. So it is said. So in order to fix that, we have got to 2 modes. One is in the this WebEx, where we will be going with the presentations, and the same thing with the same experiences you can explore in the YouTube channel. So the preference is yours. Whichever works fine, you can take that mode. Okay. As usual, I have got 2 questions. Whether my screen is visible, and whether my sound is okay. If both is, we can have the takeoff.
Yes, Dr. Sunil, you're
Okay. So thank you very much. So I think everything is fine for our today's section. So let me put it in the presentation mode. Okay, so actually, this is the third segment which I am handling for you. The first one was on Bloom's taxonomy. The second was on architecture of OBE. And here, this is something the most awaited, because in the last day and all, we can see a lot of chats. So what's about mapping? What's about mapping? How about calculations and all? So we are diving into that in these 2 days, because I'll be giving setting a stage with the mapping and some inputs into the assessment designs of outcome-based education, and Dr. Mendes will be taking into the final lap of the final calculations, and also he will be introducing you to some automated systems where the mapping could be done. The mapping, calculations could be done in an ease. So here we go with the assessment designs and mapping outcome. So as usual, the agenda for today. So obviously, we have to check out with what is the menu for today, and this is the menu that we are going to serve for this segment. That we will be having last day. Actually, we have got a formula for writing an outcome, and that is one of the most general formula for writing an outcome. So how to use that formula and have a structural design of PO, PSO, and CO, because in the last day we are using the graduate attribute, and we were trying to call the graduate attribute as PO. Today we will be transforming that graduate attribute, that single word like communication skill, leadership, like that, into a very beautiful statement which depict the program outcomes. So how to convert a graduate attribute into a program outcome statement? That's what we are going to deal in the first section. And obviously, this is where we are starting with the assessment part, where first I will be giving you some rationale behind mapping weightage, because when we say about OBE, the most frequently asked question is that what is how is mapping done, and what is its relevance? Obviously, that could be answered while we go with the rationale behind mapping weightage in OBE. And also, we'll be introducing you a standardized mapping scale in OBE, which is the scale which has been adopted by NBA, as well as which has been also approved by NAC. So that also will be familiarizing you with the scale. Then determination of the mapping strength. This is what I think most of the participants over here is looking for. How to find out the mapping strength. That's something very important. So we have got two levels of mapping which takes place in an OBE topology. So we'll be detailing on those concepts of two-level mappings. Then this is something very important, that the significance of a program metrics of an OBE, because if the OBE should give some valid computations regarding the PO, then you have to prepare a program metrics, and you have to ensure that all these POs are sufficiently addressed. So in order for that, we have to prepare a program metrics and mapping, of course, related items. So this is what we are going to serve for today. So I think that today's menu is very rich, and we can enjoy its flavor at its best. The thing is that just put some your commitment and attention towards what we discuss for today. So okay, let's have our journey on. So this is about the structural design. So till yesterday, we have for PO, what we have done is that we have first written a goal, that is the program educational objectives, which we can otherwise call it as the educational goal, and what are the inputs that is essential, what are the attributes that is essential for the accomplishment of these goals, and these attributes which we call it as the POs. So actually these attributes we call as the graduate attribute. And now we will be checking out that how to convert that graduate attribute into a program statement. You can just, I have just taken two use cases there. Because one of the most frequently said graduate attribute is communication skill, because that's something very important. Irrespective of the position in life, we need communication skill as a graduate. So what is communication skill? How to put this communication skill into a PO statement? How to that is how to put it in a verbal form. That's what is shown here. So as said that for writing a PO, it is a combination of an action verb plus graduate attribute. In the previous instance where we have discussed, if you want to write a small outcome, that is, if you're going to take a 2-hour class about a topic, that outcome should contain a verb and the learning statement. But here, if you want to write an outcome for a graduate attribute, okay, you need the verb as well as what the graduate attribute. So now, what does this so we are taking this graduate attribute, communication skill. What does communication skill mean? Or what constitutes the communication skill? That is, this communication skill is a competency which could be broken down into multiple sub-competencies, right? So if you want to ensure a good communication skill, that particular candidate should have the ability to speak, ability to read, ability to comprehend, likewise ability to communicate effectively in his life, ability to communicate in his workspace, ability to communicate with the what we can say that with the modern platforms. So all these things are the part of communication skills. So communication skill is nothing but a packet of micro competencies, right? So how can we write communication skill into a program statement? We can just see action verb should be there. So what can you expect from the students? They demonstrate. Demonstrate is the verb which comes at an application level. So communication skill at its application level means demonstrate the functional ability. Okay, so that is the verb part. Ability to read. You're breaking the communication skill into different micro competencies. This is only a demi thing. You can write it more better than what I say. So ability to read, write, speak, comprehend, and communicate effectively using modern communication medias. So I have just listed out few sub competencies related to communication skill. For participating successfully in the student should be able to use the communication to participate successfully in his social space, his career space, and life space. So a comprehensive outcome has been formulated. So this is the standard program outcome. This is how you have to write a frame a program outcome in its verbal form. And what does this state? It is the communication skill, the graduate attribute. So the graduate attribute is being expanded into a verbal format of communication skill. So one more thing. So here we have used one demonstrate the functional ability. Demonstrate was the verb part which says that this is something at an application level, the communication skill at an application level. So modern tool usage, that also we are using multiple verbs, right? Apply, use, and operate. Apply, use, and operate. Appropriate, what are the things? So apply apply, use, and operate. Appropriate modern tools, techniques, and resources to various activities of life, career, and higher educations with the knowledge of its limitations. So this gives a very comprehensive way of writing about this POs. So this is what we can say that graduate attribute listed into a form of a statement. So here we can use single verb, and also you can have a multiple verbs that could be framed. So here this modern tool usage could be apply some, it could be apply modern techniques, or use modern tools, or operate modern tools. So likewise, you can have a multiple sub competencies listed around it. So that constitute how to write a PO. So now going to PSO. So how to find a PSO? There also it is action verb plus a specific graduate attribute related to the program. Obviously, we know that the program outcomes are something common to all the programs. They are the general attributes. And PSO is subject specific, which is domain specific. So this, because all the course outcomes will have a major it will be majorly addressing these PO statements. But for the program outcomes, it may not be that much addressing that. So what is PSO is program specific outcomes, and it could be written in this way. So you can just read action verb, that is apply. This is a small program. This is a small program that is a sample BCA program. So what should be the program specific outcomes of a BCA student? So apart from the program outcomes, the BCA students should have these program specific outcomes. And what are the outcomes? That is, they have to come to a functional level in their domain expertise. That is what it is showcased here. This is only a dummy. You can frame something better than this. So this is the verb part. That is, they should be able to apply what? These are some of the components which is there in their part of the syllabus for the BCA. That can be mathematical foundations are there, algorithmic principles are there, the computer science theory are there, practices are there. So apply all the domain knowledge. So I will write it, apply all the domain knowledge. And what are the domain knowledge which is inclusive in computer application? Computer sciences, mathematical foundations are there, which will be spread out in various courses. Algorithmic principles, computer science theories, practices in relevant computing situations. So it becomes a very comprehensive, very comprehensive. That means you have to take the domain knowledge to an application level. That's what is stated. So this is something for BCA. Whatever they learn, they have to take it to the functional level. Then what's this? Design and develop software systems and programs with ethical concerns. So this is what another important thing, that so they should take that knowledge to the functional level, and the other, they have to design and develop softwares and programs with ethical concerns. So another thing that is been included is that use. This is the verb which is being used, which makes it predominant, that it's an application level. Use new designs, operating systems, languages, and other software development tools within reasonable time restraints. So this is another way. So all these are subject specific. All these are the subject specific. For a BCA student, if you're generalizing it, they should learn every topic at an application level. Then they should create some design some softwares, programs, etc., some system programs, etc., of their own, and they have to keep abreast with the latest. This is what we expect for a BCA program. It's a very comprehensive thing. Okay, so normally it is often asked that what will be the ideal optimal number for PSOs. It is often said that you can comprehend it into 3 or 4 statements. So that will be a better way of presenting PSOs. And PO will be from 8 to 12. That will be some ideal number. But it is something where PO should be constructed from the college, that is from the institutional level, and the PSO should be prepared from the department level by under the that is the leadership of the HOD. They have to prepare this. That is a normal practice that we could find. And writing the course outcome. That's what we teachers are more inclined to, because everybody have to write their own course outcome, provided as a part of the syllabus. If they don't prescribe a course outcomes, it is your responsibility to write course outcome. So as said that the course outcome, while writing the course outcome, there is 2 way of writing the course outcomes. So one is that if a course is having multiple modules, like 3 or 4 modules or 5 modules, that will be the normal structure of a course with a credit of 4. If you are having about 4 modules or 5 modules, whatever it may be, you can take 1 module. So outcome is what the students should be able to know and do. That's what outcome depicts. So you take 1 module, you can go deeper into that module, and you can ask yourself, what does the students are capable of doing when I complete this module? You will be getting an answer, and that answer you can put it, you can frame it in the form of an action verb and a course statement. So the first what was a general topic which introduced the different computer parts. So on completing that, what students should be able to do? They should be able to identify the parts of the computer system, because it's an introduction to computer. So different computer systems. So that constitutes the first. So regarding the first unit, definitely that has got that unit has only that much of scope. So they should have they should have a conceptual knowledge about these parts of the computer. Explain the functioning of the computer components. So going into detail, understanding how the procedural knowledge of the computer, like that, you will be able to write. So there are 2 ways you can write. One, taking the module as such, and if the module is something comparatively big, you can subdivide it into 2 and write the 2 CUs corresponding to a module, so that they can be at least about between 5 to 6 or 7 COs. That will be a little more ideal. Or you can take the course as a whole, as I've done in the subject which I was handling was operational research, because all the modules of the operational research has got the same format. One, formulation of the model, then what is a solution of the model through some set algorithms, validating of the models. So we can go it in a transaction, in a longitudinal way, like a formulation of the model, then that is to solve that the model, and to validate the model on the basis of its efficiency. You can put it in that way also. So both the way is appreciable, and this will be something makes the work easy. If you take a module, ask this question, and frame COs respect to that module, that will be something better. So that makes our first part of this. That is converting. That is yesterday what I have given is a general formula. That is action verb plus the learning domain. So we have used that formula for formulating both the PO, PSOs, and COs. So now we can pass on to what is the logic behind the mapping. So we are switching to the mapping scenario. So directly going into the mapping, instead of directly going into the mapping, I would like to bring to your notice a common scenario which we are very, very familiar. So you can read what is there in the slide which is given to you. And you can give that answer in the chat. I am very eagerly looking at the chat. So I will also read for you. In a grading system, so you are going for a grading system. So you have set a criteria for the grading. What is the criteria all about? Suppose the homework counts 10%. So you will be pulling out 10% of the score of homework for calculating combined grade. Okay, 10%. The quiz takes 20%. So you are giving 20% weightage for quiz, and the whatever score that you have scored for quiz, you are taking 20%. And for the final test, you are giving 70%. So did you get the scenario? So you are in a grading system. Suppose that homework count 10%. So 10% weight is therefore the score that you give for homework. 20% weightage for the score that the child or the student get for quiz, and 70% for the score that they get for test. So this is the criteria. And if John has a homework grade of 92, okay, so what is the grade that John has got for this homework? 92. For quiz, he scored a grade of 68. He scored a grade of 68. And for test, he scored a grade of 81. 81. Then what is the combined grade of John? What is the combined grade of John? Okay, many answers. Before reading the question, the scenario, the answers begin to pop it. I'm very happy. I'm very happy about this. So what is really happened here? You are pulling out for calculating of the John's combined grade. You are pulling out what? How much? 10% from John's homework mark. You are pulling out 20% from what? His quiz grade. And you are pulling 70% from this test grade. So what is the total, the combined grade of John? That's what the question is. So there are a few answers which has been coming up. 79.5 is something which has been common, and 180 is there. Okay, no problem. You have rounded it as 80. That's very fine. So we can just check the scenario. What is happened? So if you answer this scenario correctly, that means you understood. This is the answer for what I could say, the calculation of the COs. So if you understood the logic behind this, you understood the logic behind the calculation of COs. I don't have much to answer or much to explain about that. This is the logic behind the CO. So you can just see this is the scenario. This is the scenario. This is the design of this was the design of the assessment. That is for calculating the combined. So calculating the combined grade. Combined grade. What happens? 10% is pulled from 10% is pulled from the score that John has got for homework 92. 20% from 68 and 70% from 81. So the combined grade will be what? How can you write 10 into 92 plus 20 into 68 plus 70 into 81 divided by 10 plus 20 plus 70. This is nothing but the weighted average of the score with respect to the weights. So you are taking 10%, 10 into 92, 20 into 68, 70 into 81 divided by that sum of the weights. So this is the weighted average. So if you there is somebody is saying that it's not audible. I want to check it. Is it true? Am I audible? Sijan, if you are in the other end, yeah, there are many. Yeah, audible. So probably it's something.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. So it's something from your end. You can check it out. So this is the combined grade. So for calculating the combined grade, what you want the weightage. What weightage this homework will contribute to the combined grade? What weightage this quiz will contribute to the combined grade, and what weightage the test will will contribute to? So how are we fixing this graded? Because with respect to the combined grade, this is strongly addressed. The test is strongly addressing the combined grade. That is why 70 is there. This is weakly addressing the combined grade, and this is moderately addressing it. So the combined grade is calculated on the basis of to what extent an activity addresses the that is the grade at the next hierarchy. So that is to what extent. So this weightage is nothing but what we consider as mapping in this OBE topology. So now let us. So overall grade will be the weighted average of the score of the component. So I will put it like this. So this was the scenario. This was the scenario that we found. Combined grade is being calculated from these three instances. Where homework is very feebly addressing this combined grade, that is only 10% was taken. Quiz is moderately, that's why 20%. This is strongly addressing, that's why 70% is been taken. So now you can just think of a scenario of this OBE. So in an OBE, the combined grade, the final grade that we have to estimate in a program is what is the level of attainment of that POs and PSOs. That will be the level of the combined grade, because the final assessment, that is when the student complete and pass out of a program, a graduate program, what is the final assessment we have to calculate? We have to calculate, because initially we fixed what we have to attain, POs and PSOs. And for attaining POs and PSOs, we are introducing different courses. Isn't it? That was the building block that we have seen in the previous class. So finally, when they pass out, what we have to calculate to what level these POs and PSOs are attained. So the combined grade, that which comes in the combined grade scenario is nothing but the POs, and these POs are attained by what? By different courses, which we transfer the courses in the terms of outcomes. So definitely each courses will be having some course outcomes which may be connected with the POs. So it can be CO1, CO2, etc. So these POs are calculated on the basis of the attainment of these COs. So for calculating it, Before homework, we know that the homework was taken only less priority because it is addressing this combined grade only very weakly. And the test is addressing the combined grade strongly. So on the basis of this weightage only, we have calculated the combined grade. Similarly, on the basis of the weightage, to what extent the CO1 addresses this one, to what extent CO2 addresses this one, to what extent CO2 addresses this one, that has to be calculated. And that weightage, which we can call it as the mapping strength of each COs to the corresponding POs. That is what we have to calculate. So suppose the former scenario, we can rewrite it as this. Instead of the combined grade, it is replaced by PO. Instead of homework, it was replaced by some CO to which this PO is connected. Instead of quiz, we have replaced it by some other CO to which it is connected. And these are nothing but the mapping strength. So this is being connected with this PO very feebly. This is connected with this PO very strongly. So what is the PO attainment? PO attainment, the mapping strength of this one into the respective attainment, plus the mapping strength into the respective attainment, plus the mapping strength into the respective attainment, divided by the sum of mapping. And this, we call it as weighted average. So this is the logic behind the calculation of POs. And similarly, the calculation of COs. So the weighted average. So what we have to, for calculating the weighted average, what we need is that we want to first identify the weightage. And this weightage, we are forming a scale for weightage, not 10, 20, 30. We are forming a scale. For if it is strongly addressing, we don't put 70, we put 3. If it is weakly addressing, we won't put 10, we'll put 1. If it is moderately addressing, we won't put 20, we will put 2. So we are converting the mapping strength not on the basis of 10, 20, 30, just on the basis of 1, 2, 3, or the basis of if it is strongly addressing, 3, weakly addressing, 1, moderately addressing, 2. So obviously, I can read your mind. What makes it strong and what makes it moderate and what makes it weak? So that is what we are going to discuss in the upcoming slides. So how to find the mapping weightage. And with respect to this attainment, we don't put it like this, 92, 68. So here we have got some formula for converting the attainment into a standardized scale. So the attainment should be converted into a standardized scale, and the mapping should be done on the basis of 1, 2, 3. So this is what we have to do at this next phase. So this will be obviously we will be knowing that this is the entire OBE process, or the OBE topology will be like this. OBE topology. So what is this? If you are just remembering what we have shown in the previous day regarding what I could say regarding the architecture of OBE, obviously at the top end level was the PEO, that is educational goals. And it is on the basis of these educational goals, we have we have identified what should be the ideal competencies which are essential for the actualization of these educational goals. And the general competencies we showcased as program outcomes, and that which related to the specific subject we showcased as what? Program specific outcomes. And how they are met. Through different courses. And every courses will be having the different course outcomes which will be coming at the second level of hierarchy. So the top level of hierarchy will be the program outcomes like that. And the second level of hierarchy will be the outcomes related to the course. And there is a third level of hierarchy. And what is that? So each course outcomes are calculated on the basis of the different activities you are giving on the basis of that particular course. So the course outcomes are performed. The course outcomes are attained on the basis of different learning experiences and activity. So each learning experiences will be having what? The micro level outcome. isn't it? So these course outcomes are attained by performing different learning experiences or giving different activities like project, seminars, portfolios, field trips, like that. A number of activities, curricular activities, will contribute to this CO. So each curricular activity will be having micro level outcome, that is intended learning outcome, or this intended learning outcome. So that is the grassroots level. So here we have got three levels. One is the top level, that is the outcome which the student should attain on completion of the program. Then course level outcomes, which the students attain after completion of each course. And this is the activity level outcomes. So every activity also we have to frame some micro level outcomes, and that activity outcomes are something that the student should attain after completion of that particular activity. So on the basis of is performance on for the corresponding activities, like test is an activity, assignment is an activity, seminar is an activity, industrial visit is an activity. Likewise, you can have a number of activities. So on the basis of the performance of the student on these activities, we'll be able to calculate to what extent the CO corresponding to these activities are met. So after calculating all the COs, you will be able to calculate on the basis of the attainment of these COs, we'll be able to calculate what? We'll be able to calculate the final level outcomes, that is the program outcomes and program specific outcomes. So the program outcomes and program specific outcomes are calculated only after completing the entire process of the entire course. That is, if it is a 6-semester program, only after completing the 6th semester, we will be able to calculate the final value of POs and PSOs. So COs are calculated on successful completion of every courses. The attainment, we can calculate the COs. And the COs are calculated by means of small programs connected to the course. So each small programs will be documented, and on the basis of the performance, we'll be calculating COs. And on the basis of the entire COs, we'll be calculating the POs. So this is how the calculation process happens. So we have to go from bottom to top. So this is the real functional level where we are operating with the students. And on the basis of the performance, we'll be calculating COs. And on the basis of the CO attainment, we'll be calculating POs and PSOs. So now here we can see a three hierarchy. The topmost level hierarchy is PO and PSOs. The second level of hierarchy is the course level outcomes. And the third level of hierarchy is the small activity that we perform. It can be a small test. It can be an external exam. It can be an assignment. It can be a seminar. It can be a creation of portfolio. It can be a creation of a small video film. It can be a number of things, an industrial visit. It can be a project of water, it may be connected to the course. So it can be something. So here is the real assessment process which has been happening. And this assessments will be pushed to the lower level and calculated the top level assessment. So here we have got a 2-level of mapping. Okay, so now we are coming to the mapping, because we have to understand the topology, otherwise you'll be confused. There is one mapping, here is one mapping. What is all these mappings all about? So we have got 2 levels of mapping. One is what? Between COs and PO, and COs and PSOs. So POs and PSOs are at the topmost level. That is, after completion of the program, what the students are capable of doing. So there should be a mapping between the entire COs of the program. Probably if there is if one course has got 5 COs, if there are 5 courses in one semester, probably everybody is having 5 COs, then probably 25 COs will be there for one semester. And if there are 6 semesters, there will be 150 COs will be there in the second level. So we want to map all these 150 COs to the respective POs and PSOs. So this level of mapping, we can call it as first level. Okay, level 1. And this COs are calculated on the basis of the different activity that you give as a part of the curriculum. So activity means what? You can give a test. So if you're giving a test, each question of the test should be mapped onto the corresponding COs. If you're giving an assignment, you have to map the strength of the assignment towards the COs. Or you can create a rubrics, and rubrics will be having each 3 or 4 criteria. So you can specifically map each criteria to these COs. So obviously there is a level 2 mapping, that is mapping of the different activities and exams related to the courses to the respective course outcomes, and course outcomes to the respective POs. So there are 2 levels of mapping. So what we are going to check out in the upcoming slides is that how can we map these level 2 mapping and level 1 mapping to a certain level of validity. That's what we are going to check it out. So this is about assessment, because as we know that the final assessment of an OB is that the calculation of the topmost level. That is what the final assessment, that is to what extent PU and PSOs are attained. That is why in the previous presentation I've shown that the students, that is each student, we should be able to calculate to what extent the PU level attainment has happened, isn't it? The domain knowledge, the communication skill 2.7 or whatever it may be, that is the final calculation. And these are calculated on the basis of the attainment of the COs. So this is what, so a proper mapping is something that makes this assessment calculation more valid. So we can go to the calculation part. So this is the standard scale that I am going to familiarize you. So are you here we were telling about the relationship. That is, a CO can be connected with the PO in either of these 4 ways. Sometimes a CO is not related to a PO. It has no connection with the PO. That means the relationship is nil or null relationship. There is no connection. The CO and this PO, the respective PO, don't have any connection or similarity. So it is not connected with it is not, suppose if it is the communication skill, this CO is not connected with this communication skill. It is the problem solving ability. So it is not connected there directly. So what can you say? There is no relationship. So no weightage. You can leave 0. Or these are the 3 possibilities: low, moderate, and significant. So what make it low, what make it moderate, and what make it significant will be explained in the upcoming slides. So if it is strongly addressing, we give 3. You can just bring it to your mind the combined grade, which we have replaced by 0, and the test weightage 70, very strong. So we have replaced, it should be replaced by significant. If it is significant, that 70 should be replaced by 3. Homework 10%, it's not strongly, so we can replace it by 1. And the other one is moderate, we can replace. So instead of 10, 20 and 70, we'll be having 1, 2, and 3. So in an OB scenario, the weightage or the strength of mapping is determined on the basis of 1, 2, and 3. And in the right side, we have got what 70% for or 81 for test, 90 for homework, like that. So that has to be standardized. That has to be standardized, because that is sometimes it can be out of a percentage. In some cases, it will be out of 50. In some cases, so normally what we do, we have to apply standardization for that attainment. So the attainments are standardized on the basis of this. That is, if there is 0, if the total performance is 0, we can give 0%. That means we can put it 0. So if it is between 71 to 100%, so if the homework, we found that it was 81%, 81 out of 100, that is 81%. That means according to the standardization scale, 81 lies between 71 and 100. So you have to put 3. So if the case of Chris, if he has got only 62, assume, that means it comes at this level. So you can give 2. And if the homework, he scored only some 45% marks, so it comes in this scale. So this is a standardized scale for this is a scale for standardization of the score. So for calculating, for making this mapping strength, we have to standardize what these percentage of attainment by the means of this scale. If it is between 71 to 100, 3, 51 to 72, and 1 to 50, it is 1. And this is the standardized scale which we have adopted from NBA, and NAC also is comfortable with this scale. So this is what is. So we have just understood what is the logic behind the mapping, and the calculation. We are calculating what normally we are calculating these attainment in terms of weighted average. So now, and also we are familiarized with the scale of mapping. So now it's the time for level 2 and level 1 mapping. So after explaining this level 2 and level 1 mapping, obviously our scenario of the major agenda of this section will be met. So what is level 2? Level 1 was how to map CO with PO. And level 2 is how to map an activity with the respective CO. And what is the activity? Activity can be a test, or it can be a assignment or seminar or whatever it may be, connected to the course. So the most common activity which will be common to all will be a test. So if you are going to map a test with the respective CO, by the performance, the marks that you are getting for a test, either it is an internal test or an external examination, you will be able to calculate what extent CO is attained with respect to the test. So likewise, with respect to every activities, we have to calculate, and the combined attainment will be calculated as the CO, which will be discussed in detail at the next class. So my matter of concern is how to map the how to register the mapping strength at these two levels. So now let us take this scenario. What I have written here is what? A outcome and a question. You'll be wondering, both of them are just like siblings having the same format. Truly. So in this context, I will try to say that a outcome will be a glorified a outcome. The structure of the outcome will be in the form of a glorified a question. Because what does a question emphasizes? That is, you, after teaching something, you are conducting an exam and you are putting a question. What does that question signifies? That is, to what extent that that particular student has the scholastic attainment of the particular student with respect to that particular subject. What level he has attained, isn't it? So, what will be the outcome? What should be the level that the student should attain will be fixed first. So a outcome also will be having the same structure of a question. So I would like to put it as an outcome will be the topmost level that the particular subject will take the students with respect to his knowledge as well as his skill. So that is what an outcome signifies. So definitely the outcome has got the same structure of a question. It will be having a level, as well as it will be related to what a particular area of study. That is what you have seen the structure of that outcome. Verb part plus the learning domain. So outcome will be the highest level, highest possible level that you are taking the students with respect to the particular subject of study. And the question is some stimulus you are passing to the students to ascertain whether the students are attaining that outcome. That's what both of them mean. So an outcome has got the structure of an outcome has got two components, right? A verb. We have mentioned it as yesterday, a verb as well as a learning statement. When we call it as a course outcome, this learning statement will be for a bigger area. So that is we call as a learning domain, an action verb and a learning domain. So this will be the structure of a learning outcome. And what is the purpose of the test? The test is to check whether you have attained this outcome. So you will be putting framing a question. You will be framing a question. So the question that you frame also will be having a verb, because you are working with different questions in the first section. That is why we have given that much of importance for framing questions and also understanding the Bloom's taxonomy. So you are framing a question in order to check whether this outcome is met. So the question also will be having what? An action verb, which indicate what is the level of that question. And a learning statement, obviously, if you want to explain, okay, the question is that explain GST. Explain is the verb, and GST is the learning statement. Define Ohm's law. Define is the verb. It's a remembering level, and Ohm's law is the learning statement. So it is having both. So both of them will be having the same structure. So how to understand whether this activity and what is the strength of this? So first we have to check whether this learning statement is inclusive in the learning domain, whether it match. That means whether this question is from this area. If it is not from this area, obviously we say that it is not connected. No, it is not mapped. So when you're framing a question, you have to check whether the question is addressing the outcome. If it is addressing, okay, it is addressing. That means there is a mapping strength. Then what is the mapping strength? It's been checked by cross-checking the level of the verb. And how we'll be able to identify the level, this level of the verbs? That is, if you can just consider this scenario. The outcome is the level by which you have to take the students. If it is an application level, and the question, if you give, is a remember level question. So does this level, both of them come barabar? Will it come at the same level? No. That is, the question is much lower than the level of the outcome. So if the question is a remembering, it is not that much low, but it is not as that question do not come to the level of the outcome. But if both of them comes in the same level, what you can say? The question is at an application level, the outcome is also at an application level. So both of them are strongly addressing, at the same level. So what can you say? It is strongly connected. So just by comparison of the level of learning that the outcome demand, as well as the level of learning that the question have, comparing it, you will be able to identify the strength. So that makes it a very authentic way of determining the mapping strength. So let us check one situation. Let us check one situation. Why slide is not changing? Because I have made some animations, so the slide may not change. The text is changing, right? So what mapping strength you would give to this situation? I want to get answer from you, right? So we have discussed about Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. So my course outcome at this point of view is that, at this level is that, on completion of the course, the participants will be able to apply the Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. So that is my outcome. That is, as a participant who attend should be able to apply Bloom's taxonomy in framing question. So that is my outcome. So that is my agenda. That is my outcome. That is, before starting my class, I am explaining the Bloom's taxonomy, and the outcome after my class should be the participants who are attending the class should be able to apply Bloom's taxonomy in framing question. So this is the outcome. Okay, this is the outcome. Obviously, this outcome is applied. That is the that is a K3 level. Okay. So in order to test whether this outcome is met, I am going to put a question. So I'm going to give a question. What is this? Explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level. So this was, I was teaching Bloom's taxonomy. The outcome of the class was apply the Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. And in order to check whether the outcome is met, I am asking a question. Explain the different levels of learning in Bloom's taxonomy. So how can you identify the mapping strength? You can check here. This is the outcome scenario. The outcome scenario is from Bloom's taxonomy, and my question is also related to Bloom's taxonomy. Therefore, it matches. So obviously, this question is matching, is addressing this outcome. So now you can check what is this. This is an application level question. Application level question. And what is this? This is explain. If you want to explain, this is an understanding level question. So you make a comparison between these two verbs. And on comparing, you can say that this is K3 level and this is K2 level. Not it has not come up to K3 level. It is little down. And it is not that much down as an understanding level. So it is what type of mapping these two is having. They are having at a moderate level. So many tools are coming up. So simple, so simple. So this is how that is why we have given that much importance to Bloom's taxonomy in our sections, right? I will put one more question. I'll put one more question. The second question I'm giving to the group is that using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an application level question. So Bloom's taxonomy, both are interconnected. So what is the level of the outcome? What is the level of the question? So are they strongly or moderately or weakly addressing? You can put in the chat. Yes, the answer is coming. Answer is coming. Answer is coming. This is what what we could say that level 2 mapping is all about. Level 2 mapping is all about, right? Okay, how you can just check. This is connected to the Bloom's taxonomy, learning domain. The question is also connected to the Bloom's taxonomy. So there is a connection between them. So what is the strength of the connection? This is at a K3 level, our outcome. And our question is also using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare. It is also at an K3 level. So both of them are at the same level. So what can you say? They are strongly addressing. And when we say strong, then we will be mapping it as 3. So this is the level 2 mapping. Any activity, you can compare it with this scale and you can write the mapping strength. And there can be a small confusion that can happen. If the outcome is at an analytical level 4, or outcome is at it's an evaluation level 5, and you are giving the question at understanding level or application level. So it is not trisecting it like in the same case. So how can you register the strength? So here I am just going a little back and I will be coming back. So here you can apply this formula. How can we apply that formula? So here my outcome is at a K5 level. Okay, and the question is at a K2 level. That is, my outcome is an evaluating level outcome, and my question is an understanding level question, K2 level. So, to what strength that this question will address this outcome? So, for that, I will just give you a formula. Okay, so what is the level of the outcome? 2. What is the level of the question? 5. So, what is the percentage of the strength here? 2 by 5 into 100. 2 by 5 into 100. So what is 2 by 5 into 100? That is 40%. 2 by 5 into 100, 40%. And where is the 40% lie? It is low. It is low. So suppose if it is an application level question, what is that? 3. K, that is the outcome is at the level K3. And what is the outcome is at K5. And the question is at K3. So what is that ratio? 3 by 5 into 100, 60%. So it is moderate. So it gives you a simple way of putting this outcome in an authentic way. Okay, that's so. It's wherever we go for some training purposes, it's often see that they say strongly, weakly, moderately, but they never answer what makes it strong, weak, and so I'm just giving you some method of making it strong. So this is a question-wise mapping of the test to the relative zeros. Okay, so this is an examination. Just take scenario. This is an examination. Okay, so the thing is that you are this what you could say you are having 5 modules. So as I've told that, take one module, create one CO. Say, take second module, create one CO. So like that, obviously when there are 5 modules, there will be 5 COs. And let us consider that all these COs are at what level? Application level, because this is an application level. All the COs are at application level. So you are framing a question from the first chapter, first module. First module will be related to first CO. And what is this? This is an application level. This is an application level. And what is this? This is an what level question? Understanding level. So application, understanding level 2. Okay. So second question, this is application level. Define. Define is what? Understanding level. Define is a remembering level. Okay. So moderately 1. And this is from the 4th chapter. So this is connected with C4. This is list. That is remembering level. This is so here we can create that is all the mapping could be done in this way. So this is the level 2 mapping. So while you are preparing a questions, you also, so while you're creating a bank, I will show you, because when you are working with this outcome-based educations, we have got a lot of documentations that has to be made then and there, and a lot of calculations that makes it really worthwhile. So obviously, if you're working with outcome-based educations, you will be having a lot of engagements in making the calculations. So obviously, to make it fruitful and effective, definitely it will be better that you have an automated system. You can just create something, or you could purchase something that will make things. I will just, if we have time, I will just show one system which we have created by ourselves. Just to show you if we have sufficient time at the end. So this is how this mapping at the level 2 should happen. And obviously, that is something related to a common thing. If it is an examination, a midterm examination, or if it is a summative examination, a final examination, every question should be mapped to the respective COs, and their mapping strength has to be specified. So in terms of the scale which I have shown to you as 1, 2, and 3. And what is this? This is the examinations come as a part of the assessment. Okay, the term 1 and the term 2. So this is the internal part. That is the external will be the final examination. So this is the internal, that is the assessment activities related to the internal activities. So suppose this is a course, and in the courses, according to your the scheme of the syllabus, you may be having 2 internal examinations, then probably an assignment, project, case study, field trip. This will constitute your internal activities. So when you come into an outcome-based scenario, all these activities should be related to some outcome. That is why we call it as outcome-based. So in outcome-based, whatever you do, it should be centered around some outcome. And on completion, you have to ascertain whether that outcome is met. So finally, when all these outcomes are because while we are formulating the outcome-based education, there is a constant flow from top to bottom, isn't it? So when that from the bottom wise, if all the COs related to that activities are perfectly met, definitely when you go upper and up, definitely the PUs will be met in a perfect way. So that is how this the flow will be maintained. So when you're working with the lower level, every activities will be connected to some related outcomes will be there. So here we have got 2 internal tests, because here the scheme of the assessment will be 60% may be given to the external exams and 40% may be given to the internal examinations. And this may be the academic, that is the distributions of the weightage regarding the different activities, like 10 marks for 2 internal examinations and 5 for these evenly distributed for the other 4 activities. So you have to make a mapping like this, isn't it? For assessment, for the assignment will be connected with the first 2 chapters, so it will be connected with these 2 and at this strength. The project will be connected with these three. The case studies will be connected with these two, and the field trip will be connected in connection with these two outcomes. Like that, you can have the mapping likewise. So this is the mapping. To what extent that they are addressing, they are addressing these CEOs should be mapped. And how to calculate the CEOs, I'm not mentioning it at this point of time, because tomorrow section will be completely dedicated for how to calculate the CEO. So Vanessa will be giving you some detailed explanations on how the CEOs are calculated. So I am only at this point of time has been focusing on mapping. So whatever be the this activity which you are included as a part of the course, that activity should be mapped to their respective CEOs in terms of the level 2, in terms of the level that is in terms of this level 2 mapping. And the term 1 and term 2 examinations, you can map separately, because here the term 1 examination 10 marks, it is not a single question. There will be about 10 or 15 questions can be there, and the question should be mapped separately, and you can transfer that weightage for the calculation as such. So that is how the mapping should happen. So this is the more importance which I have given is how to map each question to their respective CEOs, and every activity to their respective CEOs. That's what we are at this point of time. We have just mentioned about the mapping strength only. Calculation part I'm not going at this point, because tomorrow we'll be dealing with calculation. And this is what level 1 mapping. Level 1 mapping. So level 2 mapping, we have mapped on the basis of the strength. We will be able to map it. And here, on the basis of the level 1 mapping, it is not purely on the basis of the strength. There is a different methodology which has been adopted, and this is the one methodology which is being adopted by AICTE or to have an authentic mapping. So here I am told that each PO could be subdivided into this sub competencies, right? Or sub attributes. So every PO could be subdivided into multiple sub attributes. For example, if you take this PO, let it be a competency, communication skill, because that's a particular skill which we are more related. So you can factorize that this communication skill into different sub competencies. So how can you factorize it? So we told that a communication skill means you should be able to read. You should have a proper vocabulary strength. You'll be able to write that is different types of documents. Right, you should be able to comprehend what you read in a better way. Then you should be able to negotiate in some situations. You should be able to make some effective presentations of some topics. You should be able to what you could say that communicate with modern tools. So you should be able to create some project proposals like that. You can have a number of sub competencies related to the which you find comfortable, and so that is something is left to the institutional level. That is, the PO could be subdivided into the sub competencies. And this is the structure of a CEO. We know that action, verb, and learning statement is there. So you can cross-check this CEO with their respective competencies. That is the number of competencies that this CEO addresses should be identified. That is, number of competencies that the CEO addresses should be identified. And if this CEO span more than 40 or more than 40% of the competencies, 40 or more than 40 of the competencies, then we can say that the CEO is strongly addressing this PO. Okay, suppose if the communication skill could be broken down into 10 sub-competencies, and this CEO has been addressing 3 of them, then what can you say? What is the percentage? What is the percentage? 3 out of 10, that is 30%. 30% means between 25 and 30. It is only moderately. So suppose if it is addressing 4 of the competencies that you have listed, then definitely 40% of the competencies are addressed so strongly. So this is the logic of how you are able to map. So that is what it has been very clearly written in our introductory section, that OBE is all about bringing clarity to our activities. So while the teachers are preparing the students in an OBE wavelength, they should be clear with, if I say communication skill, what makes the communication skill happen? They should be clear about the competencies and ensure that the competencies are met in the right way. So that should bring clarity to our working environment. So then only it will be in the right way. And there is there are two ways which has been this mapping, but this is the most authentic way of mapping. And the other thing is that how much percentage of time that this CU it takes. That is, what is the percentage of the this time that CU take for actualizing the CU? And on the basis of that, if it takes about 40% or more of the time, then it is strongly addressing like that. But it is not much reasonable. But in some these reviews, that also is been seen. But this is the one which is being accepted by the AICT. And obviously, because the NAC is only on its way, it's still at the infancy stage on implementation, because the engineering colleges are something has gone much ahead. So this is what they have suggested. So this is a scale for mapping the outcomes with these PU. So we have just cleared some concepts, the topology of the outcome-based education, PU at the top end, then CUs, and then the micro activities which we include for actualization of CUs. On the basis of the micro activities, we'll be calculating CUs, and on the basis of CUs, we'll be calculating PUs. So we have to map all the micro activities with CUs, and that we call it level 2 mapping. And what is the logic for mapping, making the mapping at a level 2, especially for the question to be mapped with the respective CUs, and how to, because the other thing, we have to go with the rubrics detail, so that will make the things clear. I think Mendes sir has included that also in his presentation. And here for CO2, the PO level, that also is done in the way that I've shown you, splitting the PO into the multiple competencies, and to ensuring what percentage of competencies that the CEO spans, and what on the basis of that 40% in above 3, 25 and 42, likewise we can make categorizations. So once you have made that, it is your duty to prepare a CU-PU mapping table. So this is one course. Introduction to the computer, which has got 5 CUs, and our college has got a set of 9 PUs, and each CU will be addressing probably because these are the PUs are something generic, so it is not compulsory that each CU will be addressing all the PUs. No, never. Sometimes it may address about 2 or 3. That is to the maximum. So you have to identify which all PU that this CU addresses. Okay, and what is the strength? And how will you find the strength? All the PUs, you know that the PUs should be split into the different sub attributes. At what percentage of the attributes does this spans? On the basis of that, you can make it 2, 1, and rarely you will be getting 3 also. So each CU should be there. So this is for the first course. And in one semester, probably there will be 5 courses. So we'll be having 5 into 5, 25 CUs, and the respective mapping to the CUs should be there. So this is the COPO mapping table that has to be maintained. And similarly, we have to map the CO PSO. So obviously, PSO is domain specific. So all the COs will be having a direct connections with the almost all the PSOs, almost all. Probably sometimes it may happen that it will not be addressing 1 or 2 one PSO or something like that. But comparing to PO is general. All the these course may not be addressing this PO in the same way that it addresses PSO, because PSO is domain specific. So what all activities you are doing in connection with the courses will have a direct bearing with a direct connection with the PSOs. So you can have the PSO mapping like this. And finally, this is something very important. This is something very important. A consolidated mapping table mapping the entire course COs and the entire PUs and PSOs. So this will be something very big. So as I've told that if there are 5 CO for a course, if there are 5 courses for one semester, probably 25 COs will be there. And if there are 6 semesters, 150 COs will be there. So 150 rows will be there. Minimum for 150, between 150 and 200 rows can be there. And there are 9 POs and PSOs. You can populate the entire matrices with the mapping strength. Why so is that we have to ensure that all the PUs, all the PSOs will be sufficiently addressed. That is, that will be you don't have to worry because they are program specific. So whatever thing that you do in terms of your course will be having a direct connection with PSOs. So the problem is that some PUs may not be sufficiently addressed. Some PUs may not be sufficiently addressed. So, so this program matrix gives you an indication that what all PUs are not sufficiently addressed. So it is on the basis of that, that is the POs which is not sufficiently addressed, you can create some known course activities. So the known course activities may not be included in the final mark list, but it should be included for the calculation of POs, because some POs are not sufficiently addressed. That means if you want to ensure that the program outcome has to be met. So some activities connected to those that feebly addressed PO should be identified. Some known course activities or some certificate courses or some other project-like activities could be could be included into our course in order to strengthen the feebly addressed POs. Because by the end of the program, what we have taken as a vision is that all the POs and PSOs should be sufficiently addressed. That means our students passing out of the college should have that much of competency with respect to these outcomes. So that is something we have to ascertain. So if some of the competencies which is not sufficiently addressed, that means POs, we can have the known course activity only for strengthening the POs, and it may not be included as a part of the course. And not only that, you may be familiar with that the NPE 2020 has been emphasizing on multidisciplinary education. Why? The multidisciplinary education has been focusing on, suppose if you are studying an engineering program, you should be having an opportunity to study the life skills, the environmental skills. All these things are included. Why? Because we should have the sufficiently addressed PO should be there. So this topology has been so prepared by a correct nomenclature has been there. That is why we are saying that interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary courses should be included. So a person who are specializing in technology should include courses in this physical education, courses in environmental education, courses in economics or whatever it may be. We can include it as a part of the course, and it is there. So it is there should be a good combination of courses, both in the specialized as well as in the multidisciplinary wavelength, so that the POs also will be having sufficiently addressed. And still, if the POs are not sufficiently addressed, the OBE emphasizes you to include course activities for making it happen. So that is what I was trying to bring it in this presentations. That is about how to write a structural formula for writing and PO, PSOs, and COs. Then the logic behind the mapping and the OBE topology as a whole, and the 2 levels of mapping, and how to make a the COPO mapping on the basis of factorizing the POC into different sub-attributes and identifying the percentage of attribute that is been spanned by the COs, and also on the basis of the different activities and the level that the CO emphasizes. So that is it. So coming to so this is something our task for this segment includes. So this is a very simple task which you can do it in this way. That is, you can write an outcome here, a course outcome. Now you are familiar with the course outcomes. You can write a course outcome, and you can write a remembering level question. You can prepare a remembering level question related to this course outcome, and you can map the mapping strength. So that is very simple task. So the second course outcome, a understanding level question related to that particular course outcome and the mapping strength. So here our objective is that these course outcomes will be there in you have already defined the courses outcomes, or it will be there in your syllabus. There it will be there. So your duty is to prepare a remembering level question related to that particular course outcome, and also to register the mapping strength, how to identify the mapping strength. If it is an analytical level, this is a remembering level, obviously it will be 1. So likewise, you will be able to identify all these things, and this is the scale which is there. So this will be the the task that you have for today. And I was mentioning that if you want to have a proper implementation, the assessment, then it will be better that if you have a automated tool to substantiate your work. Otherwise, you will be hooked up with a lot of calculations like that. So it is always better, because now the NP has been emphasizing the entire higher education scenario to be going to a autonomous level, either as a standalone college by more than 3,000 students are there, or by keeping it as a cluster of colleges. So anyhow, the autonomy will give you an opportunity to create the evaluation system of their own. So you have to prepare the questions paper. So and also it should be documented. Everything should be interconnected. I will just show you one scenario where we are able to this is a scenario of a question bank that we have, an automated system that we have created by ourselves. That is, here we can enter into the system in different roles like that. So just to show you how to register the mapping here, what we do is that here we have entered into this automated system from a teacher rule. And here we are taking the we are this is not so here we are entering it by the role of a examiner. We are entering here as an examiner, and this is the dashboard of the examiners. And here what we do is that we have to populate the question. As a teacher, we have to populate the question bank here. So just to show you how to populate it, we can go to this interact mode, and we can download. We can go to the question paper mode, and you can download the question paper here, which I have downloaded here priorly. So you will be getting a question like this. So here all the course outcomes will be showcased there, and you can specify from which unit this question is from. You can put that which unit this question is from, which is the subunit. You can write the question. What is the taxonomy level? That is, if the question is enable editing, I didn't enable the editing. Okay, so what is the unit? It is from first unit, and it is from first subunit. And what is the question? The question is define Ohm's law. Ohm's law. So what is the taxonomical level? You can put it like this, remembering level. So what is the level? It is an easy just to remember it, and it's an important level. It's a normal question. It's nature. It's a theoretical one. Does it likewise? You can enter all these things in your question bank. And the bigger thing, what I would like to show is that here these are the 5 COs related to the course, and I have entered one question here, and here you can enter what is the mapping strength. What is the mapping strength of this question? This is related to the first unit, so the mapping strength is defined. So it is only feebly addressing like that. So you can enter the question, enter the different level, and you can save it, and you can just upload it in the systems. And this is a very fine thing. It's a very fine thing that happens here. Also, you can. I will just log out of here, and if you are entering it from the controller's point of view, all the teachers are populating it with the respective COs. So in a split second, the controller will be able to create the question paper, which in the lines of the lines of the COs that we intended for the questions. Likewise, so the question paper has been populated, and if you go for generating that, if you want to generate like this, okay, we will be proceeding with the first one. Okay, proceeding with the first one here. This one we will be proceeding here. So with the same policies, just showing you. Okay, here this if it is an automated system, there is no need for you to identify what percentage weight should be given to this. Likewise, it is an automated system. You can create the design like this. So here the section 1, unit 1, what taxonomical level, whether it is all this is being set clearly, and you can just proceed to for generating the questions like this. So here what happens is that so when this is set, you can just generate the question. So I've clicked the generate. The question is already been the question is already been generated. So now I if I want to click proceed, if I click proceed, what happens? What happens? It will be going to this frame where you have to give a code to the question paper. And again, if I click proceed, what happens? The question paper is being generated here. The question paper is being generated here. And if you want to view it completely, oh, okay, this is the question paper which is being generated. So this has been that easy. So if you, what I suggest is that if you can develop an automated system by your own, or you can have a third-party automated system or purchase something which makes the thing easy. That is the automated system which has been functioning in the lines of this outcome-based education. So if you are doing it that in an outcome-based education in a pattern, then each questions their outcomes will be listed, and it could be directly populated into another automated system for calculating these outcomes. So obviously, when we are working with the more complicated things, obviously it will be a better to have some automated systems that will ease your work, and you can have more focuses on the area where there is life for creating curricular experiences that brings out the real learning in the students, rather than hooked up in the clerical part. So definitely that is something that you could think about, not an initial stage. You can work with the technology team related to your institutions, and you can develop one. That is what I prefer. And if it's not possible, you can have some third-party tools or something like that, which can ease your work. Otherwise, the entire outcome-based education becomes a clerical work for calculating all these things, which is manually not possible anyhow. That's why we are going with the that is techno-pedagogical content. Technology is something going along with the disruptive educational environment. So we have to go with the technology also. So that's why. So even if you're moving with the technology, you have to showcase. If you're creating a question bank, you have to just showcase all these things, the level of outcomes, and the final blueprint. As I've shown, you can create a blueprint, and blueprint will go and pull this question and will give you the ideal one. So anyhow, better than what human can prepare. They will be giving you the right questions in the right way, and you can evaluate it, put it into another automated system where you will be able to monitor the entire processes in the right way. So that's what I would like to give to you at this segment. So this is what we have been there in the agenda for the segment 2, and I'm very happy because the other 2 days I have kept you more than that is up to 9 o'clock and even more. So I'm very happy that I could conclude it at 8:35, so that 25 minutes ahead. So the platform is open. If you have some doubts to clear, then it is open for your questions. So I'm handing over to Sijan to take some questions, and if you need some clarifications on the line on the topics that we have discussed here, we can put it here, so we can leave the platform for our discussions. So Sijan, over to you.
Yeah, all right, okay. If you have any questions for Dr. Sunil, you can post them in the chat and I'll read them out to him and he will answer it. Okay, there's one question. Should the question paper carry both BTL and COs?
Obviously, that is, if you are going with an automated system, the question paper will show the Bloom's taxonomical level as well as the CO level. Both will be showcased. So, that's what you can give the structure. So they will be customizing it in the way the taxonomical level, the Bloom's taxonomical level, as well as the CO level could be showcased there. So kindly suggest some optimal number of COs, POs, and PSOs. Definitely that depends upon the course as well as, but still the POs is something that has been given from the institutional point, but it will be always ideal to limit the POs from 8 to 12. That's an ideal. Probably I've seen some colleges having 7 POs, like some nursing college like. So 7 to 12 POs will be ideal, and PSOs you can have a maximum of 4 and not more than 5. It's there are some colleges who have given it for 2, 3 likewise, and CO it will be an ideal is 5 to 7. That will be an ideal.
Any more questions? Please post them and I'll take them.
Because here in this section, my focus and my highlight is on mapping. So 2 levels of mapping out. What is the logic behind the mapping? Because what I've seen, we have gone almost all the states of the South India, and but there is a lack of clarity there. That is why I've given a special emphasis on the 2 levels specifically. And regarding the calculations, Dr. Mendes will be taking up.
There's a question from Sabu to Sabu. When you give options, can it create problems? Some with CO1, some with CO2, etc. If a student goes from only CO1.
When you give options, can create problems. Some with the CO1, some with CO2. No, this is only a dummy that I've shown. You can give a code number for the COs. So that's all indexing. You can given the course code 101.1. So the course code for introduction to the computer is 101, and in that 101.1 is the first CO likewise. So it makes the things easy.
In the COs, whether all levels has to be indicated.
So the thing is that for the CO, that's the that is what is the that is the possibility of the particular course. That should be if the course is at a basic introductory course, probably it can come up to an application level. So suppose if it at a higher end course, obviously there is a possibility of projects and all. It can go to the higher end. So it depends upon the level of the courses and its scope. That should be contained. So not taking the introductory level course and going to an create level is practically not possible. So you have to check out what is the possibility of the course. You ask the question to what level you will be able to take the students in their learning ladder, and that the maximum level which is possible is considered as the limit. Okay.
Is the question paper K levels should be restricted to each section or weightage?
No, in a question paper, K level should be restricted to each section or weightage. No, the question paper, obviously the question paper should have a connection with the COs, because in an outcome-based education, what you are assessing is to what extent the outcome is met. So obviously the question should have a bearing with the the COs. So the question should be in such a way that the COs should be contained. So if the CO is an application level, you can have questions up to an application level. Okay, that will be ideal.
If we give a career counseling program like activities to our students, should it be also be mapped?
Counseling means actually what is counseling? Counseling is a service which is given to the students who are in having some problems. So counseling is a part of your teaching activity. Okay, so it is not suppose if a student is having some personal problem, you're counseling it. So how that is, it is to fix it. Okay, fix the problem. So mapping it is not meaningful, right? Suppose if you're having a course in counseling, okay, and if the students are doing counseling as a part of the course, you can map it. Okay, the counseling is a specified service given to the students if you're having some problems with either some problems related to the study habits, or problems related to the personal problems, or problems related to the finding career or something like that. You are doing it, isn't it? So it's that.
We are asked to maintain 5%, sorry, 50% difficulty in each question paper. Can we do justice with BTL and POs?
We are asked to maintain 50% difficulty in each question. Uh, I cannot challenge what the academic council says, because when we are working in a college, uh, the what we could say, the policy of the college is given priority. I cannot say it against that. Okay.
What is the optimum DOD level in a QP?
Please abbreviate BOD. DOD.
Degree of difficulty.
Degree of difficulty level. Obviously, the degree of difficulty in the sense, the difficulty level, actually, if you want to do a standardization test procedure, we can find difficulty level and discriminating index by some formula. But here, it is it is been you are marking you are when you're writing a question. I've shown you how to populate a question in a question bank. There you are tagging your question with the different things like Bloom's taxonomy. So the difficulty level is being registered on the basis of your previous experiences. If about 80% of the questions, students answering the questions rightly without ease, you can say that it is an easy question. And if it's only 20 to 30% is answering, you can say that it is a difficult question. But in an examination question, you should not populate all the questions as difficult question. Obviously, in the blueprint, obviously more than 50% should be there as a moderate questions. 20% could be difficult, because the examination should have some discriminating power also. So that's it. So don't overpack the questions with the difficulty level questions. And 20 to 30 can be okay. And while you are taking the question to the higher order, definitely it will have some higher cognitive challenge in the students. Okay.
Questions will not have level 7 questions. So how
Usually
can
questions will not have level 7. So how can we include in a mapping? If you're level 7, what do you mean by level 7? Are you referring to create level, right? Level 6. Yes, level 6, because normally in a paper pencil examinations, the maximum possible will be when it's rightly mapped, it will be about an analytical level question will be up to that. And evaluation level question also could be included. But for create level questions, it is not possible, because how to create make the real because you are writing create level question, actually you are misinterpreting an application level question into a create level question. So the create level questions will be more meaningful when you're giving it as an assignment or a project. That makes it meaningful.
In mapping CO 101.1, 101.2, etc., what does it mean?
Mapping, that is just an indexing the CO. Indexing the CO means if you write CO1, CO2, CO3 for all the courses like that, obviously the second module also, if the first semester is having 5 courses, and each courses you are writing CO1, CO2, CO2 like that, there is a possibility that it will create a problem that it to identify it difficult. So you will be indexing the first semester. First module is 101, second module is 102, third module is 103, like that. So in 101, first module, first CO 101.1, 101.2, just only an indexing the zeros. That's it.
Should we calculate PEO and for each student?
PEO actually that is PEO is a goal. The goal could be attained. The goal could be calculated rightly only after going. Isn't it? It is futuristic. So while leaving, we will not be able to identify the goal because it is what the students are capable of doing in future. So that is why in an OBE topology, we always go behind the students at least for 4 or 5 years and get the feedback. And it is from the feedback we'll be able to identify whether the PEO is met. That's it.
I think we have taken all the questions that we have seen in the chat.
So it's a very interesting, it's a very good group. That's very good feedback and really enjoyed being with you. Anyhow, 3 days we spent together, and I really enjoyed sharing our ideas with you. And tomorrow, Dr. Mendes will be taking up the sections. So I again ask you that don't that is miss the chance of using the LMS, because you maybe you have registered, but so make the maximum utilization of that LMS. So that makes sense. So okay, that's fine. That's good.
All right. Okay.
So there's one last question here. In
Yes.
OBE, direct and indirect methods of assessments and attempts. Yeah, definitely that. So obviously in the Mendes' sections, it will be detailed because he is dealing with calculations. But still, I will tell you, if you're conducting a course, all that assessments you are doing, that is, you are making a test, you are doing summative assessments, you are assessing the students on the basis of the different criteria, like assignments, seminars, project like that. All these will be integrated as a direct, as the direct CO calculation. And after completing of the course, you will be giving a opportunity for the student to make a self-evaluation on the basis of some survey. So that is you will be asking the student that to what extent that you see you feel that CO is met. So that also will be mapped in 1, 2, 3 scale. So the direct that you calculated, and the indirect that the students have responded as a self-evaluation, these two should be combined together. So the academic council will create a weightage for this, combining these two, probably 90% for direct and 10% for indirect. So what the students have marked about themselves will be taken, and 10% weightage should be given. So 80 into the direct or 90 into the direct plus 10 into what the students has said about themselves divided by 100 will be the final CU attainment. So for every courses, after there should be a course and survey or something, a third party making an assessment, and you can combine it direct and indirect in the ratio which has been prescribed by the your college. And after completion of the entire CUs, you can calculate all the PUs. And also POs also, there is a indirect assessment. You can ask the students that that is the program and survey, to what extent all these POs are met. You can ask the questions directly, or probably you know how to formulate a questionnaire. You can formulate questionnaire either by direct or indirect questions, so that by means of Likert scale, you will be able to identify or pull out their evaluation about themselves, and you can combine the PO the PO assessments that you have done from the college up to that level, and students what they have said about themselves. You can combine it together, and that will constitute the final PO assessment. So at the PO level also there is a direct, indirect, and every course level there is a direct and indirect. So that's what I think you got the thing here. So that's all for today. So thank you once again for patiently hearing for me for such a long time. And I'm happy that I could able to wind up the section 10 minutes early, because every time they used to tell, the organizing team was tell that don't take more than 2 hours. But I was not able to show justice for the last two sections. I took you 2 or 3 minutes. I hold you 2 or 3 minutes ahead of that limit. So now that is compensated now. Thank you. So have a good night and enjoy learning this OB the next, as well as enjoy doing the real-time activities in your LMS. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Now we will move on to the vote of thanks. That will be delivered by Anuj Sebastian. She's the assistant professor in English, JPM Arts and Science College, Nabakana. She's a postgraduate from St. Joseph's College, Molamattam. She's a BA in English, Mass Viva College of Arts and Science, Murikasheri. She's got a year of teaching experience. She's participated and presented various papers in both national and international seminars on margins of heterosexuality, querying Malayalam films at 2-day international seminars on framing perspective thinking cinema. Presented a paper on capturing and creating modern representation of modern Operation NT against the wasteland. Presented a paper on transiting boundaries of scenic sublime, exploration of man and nature relationship through eco-critical study of river in God of Small Things. Over to you, Ms. Anu.
Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. A very warm good evening to one and all gathered here. Honorable Resource Person of the Day, Dr. Sunil Job, KA, Reverend Father Abraham Panikulangara, CST, Manager, Dr. Sabu Augustine, Principal, Reverend Father Prince, CST, Vice Principal, and my dear colleagues. On behalf of the organizing team, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. My heart fills with a lot of gratitude and respect for our distinguished resource person of the day, Dr. Sunil Job, KA, Assistant Professor, Marian College, Kuttikkanam, Chief of Academics, IPSR Solutions. Not only sparing his precious time for us to grace on this occasion, but also for enlightening us with your commendable talk on assessment design and mapping outcomes. So, on behalf of the GPM family, we thank you for such an amazing session. Let me place on record our gratitude to the IQSC and IPSR Solutions Limited, especially the event manager, Mr. Sijin George, Global Relations Manager, and also Mr. Jane Kuriakos, Program Coordinator, for organizing the one online program of the age. Let me also express audience to Reverend Father Abraham Patti, Dr. Sabu Augustine, Principal, Reverend Father Prince, Vice Principal, for their support. Finally, I thank all the participants without whose participation this program would not have been a great success. Once again, I thank each and everyone. Thank you.
So thank you all once again. Thank you, Sabu sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
word of thanks. Yes, tomorrow will be our last session, and we will see you at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Please do join in on time so that we'll have a session by Dr. Mendes Jacob. We'll also be having the valedictory function tomorrow. All right, everybody. Thank you for patiently attending this program and for your valuable time. We hope to see you tomorrow. Have a good evening and good night.